this before, but Luke really told me the stories and made me understand. And you know, he had a lot of stories, and I always thought, well, some of these might be true. And you know, from some of the people I've met here tonight, I think most of them were true. He had an interesting, wonderful life. And I certainly enjoyed meeting him and knowing him. And you know, we had a lot of funny things that happened around the bar there, and some of you were involved in them. But the best story I remember involving Luke was one night we had a band come through from Texas, and they were a traveling band, and they had a big crowd, and everybody was having a good time, a real good night. And as things went on, one thing led to another. It got kind of crazy, and you know, Luke, they called him the drifting preacher, and so forth. And I don't know that he was really a preacher, but at any rate, he ended up married one of the cocktail waitresses to the bass player in the band, and the next day we never saw either one of them again. We don't know where they went, but I guess they had a good time together. But that was Luke. He was up for anything, and he liked to have a good time. And you know, later on, after you know, what happened is the state took the bar away from me when they put the freeway through, and you know, I was kind of out of a job then, and got to know, you know, Luke and I would spend a lot of time together during the day, watch a little bit of TV. We played some music. Again, we, you know, did some little reading of the Bible, and just we were just good friends. And I really did enjoy knowing him. And you know, one thing he liked to watch Mike Douglas on TV, and every afternoon, 3:30. He time to turn on Mike Douglas, and that was one of the things that he liked. And I got to tell you, I never thought I'd be standing here and Luke there. It's just a hard thing, but I know he would be very, very happy that all of you are here and listening to some good music. This band is great, aren't they great? These boys used to play at the bar, and I don't know if they remember it or if you remember them from the bar, but at any rate, this is just a wonderful remembrance of Luke, and I'm glad everyone's here. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks a lot, Eddie. I don't remember so many good nights at your place. So thanks a lot. Now we got, thank you so much for coming.
I don't think I did.
Luke's brothers has come up and is going to say a few words.
Thank you, Connie.
People come a different size. I don't know.
It's too tall.
Yeah.
Thank you for all the other arrangements you made too. And all of you who were kind to Luke in his life and respectful to him in his passing. He may not appreciate the kindness, but I sure do. I'll try my pick over there. So. Here we go. You're right there, you got technical issues.
I just want to say at this point, this isn't, it's kind of weird. Everybody seems glued to their seats here. This isn't, you know, if you want to get up and move around, if you want to go get another drink, or if you want to hit the head, or you need to go have a smoke or whatever like that. Okay, well, I guess he's going back on. All right, but feel free to move around as you will. This isn't church. Although it looks a lot like it, but it's not.
That is a Mueller.
Well, thank you so much. I know Luke as Cyrus. The two of us grew up in a little itty bitty town in the dead center of God's country. Connie said Indianola, Nebraska. We went to a little one-room country school. We grew up in a little one-room country church. and we both played music, and then he got really good and went off. Town wasn't big enough for him. There's one thing that I need to say, just for the record, and that is Luke Cyrus in 1942, January, went to join up to the Army, and he was turned down because we found out then he had flat feet.
Praise Jesus.
And we were sworn to secrecy, never let that out. I don't know what it was. He was a musician and didn't want nothing to do with flat or Nebraska. But I don't think he'd mind if I say that now. And I'm sure that they won't hinder his dancing up in glory. Not long ago, I wrote a song. I stayed on the farm, stayed in the church. I wrote a song and Luke never got to hear it, so I'll have to play it now. It's called Musicians, and this is for you, Cyrus, and I hope it blesses your heart.
And I've known Luke for a long time now. He came and played a show at a little bar in our town, and after the show he asked my name, and then we danced and we talked all night through, and before I knew it, it was morning. And well, let's just say there was some chemistry between the two of us. Well, the next morning he said, "Barbara Ann, I know that you want to leave this town, and I hope you can soon, but until you do, I'm going to send you a postcard from every town that I play in so you can see the country." And to my surprise, a few days later, I received my first postcard. that was followed by letters, and I fell in love with him through those letters, and he said lots of things to me in those letters, and it was really sweet. But the last one I received, he said, "Barbara Ann, I think that I'm going to come down your way and see what happens if we're around each other for a while." And he said, "Stay tuned, more soon." And that was the last I heard. And I never did make it out of Carlisle until tonight. So, well, anyway, one more thing. Luke always encouraged me to pursue my dreams, and one of my dreams was to be a singer. And the band said I could try backing them up tonight, and I did try my hand at writing a song. So this one's for you, Luke.
I'd like to invite Travel a Long Way to come on up. And let him, hey, you cowboy, you want to help her with the, you want to help her with that microphone right there? Thank you.
Don't have to be hostile about it. This is both awkward and familiar. That song touched my heart. I understand exactly what you went through. My name is Gladys. As far as I know, I was Luke's first and only wife. I'm not bitter. I know it may appear that I am bitter, but I am not bitter. I have put all of that behind me. I don't believe in holding grudges. We met a long time ago, and it was the most beautiful time of my life, let me tell you. I was 19 years old. I was working at the Savings and Loan. I still work at the Savings and Loan, truth be told. I'm now associate manager. But he came in. He had just played a gig, and he had a check to cash, and I cashed it for him. And then he said asked if I wanted to go out and spend it with him, and of course I did. And it was the best night of my life. Never been to such a nice restaurant in all my life. I'm 19 years old, opened the menu. I don't know what to order. You know, there's steak, there's shrimp, there's all sorts of different things. I don't know. He says, Gladys, have it all. Surf and turf, baby. Have it all. And so that's what I did. I ordered surf and turf, and he did two orders of surf and turf, if you can imagine. And we were just together constantly after that, and married a couple months later. And I just was sure that that's how life would be for us, you know? Everything. We'd have the little picket fence, we'd have the family, we'd have glamour, we'd have parties, because he knew everybody, and he was destined to be famous, I was sure. And so we got married, and then he, very shortly afterward, he needed to leave. He needed to call of the Lord, call of the road, whatever you want to call it. He was gone. And it was like that for quite a while. He was gone more than he was there, truth be spoken. And so I got kind of used to that. I kept going back to work and everything. And then, it's embarrassing to say, but like 5-6 years go by, and I realized I haven't seen him in like a year. And like you were saying in your song, the letters stop. You know, you don't know where he is. And now I think he might have been incarcerated for some of that time. But anyway, so I realized that we were really no longer a man and wife. And I felt like such a fool. I took my ring off, you know, and I thought, Gladys, you know, you marry a man who's called Luke the Drifter, and you think he's going to settle down. So I went into the Savings and Loan, and I told the girls that we had a divorce, but we did not ever have a divorce. And I just assumed he settled elsewhere, but I've learned he's been in the area for quite a few years, actually. And so at any rate, I'm very sad to see him go. He really taught me to have that joie de vivre, I think that's what they call it in France, and the surf and turf kind of attitude. And so the one thing about the fact that we never got a divorce is that way back in the day, a fella at the Savings and Loan helped us set up some nice life insurance policies. And so now I'm not a divorcee, I'm technically a widow, and destined to come into a nice little chunk of change. And I'm going to use, in the spirit of loving Luke, you know, because it's all about the love. It's not about the hate. It's not about judging or anything. In the spirit of loving Luke, I think I'm going to take one of those luxury cruises, you know, with some of the money. And I just want to say, you know, Luke, if you were a younger man, if you hadn't been such a drunk and a scoundrel, and of course, if you hadn't been dead, I might have considered taking you with me. So, surf and turf, now you can have it all.
I think now maybe would be a good time to sing another hymn, right?
Pass it around. Let it out, let it out.
Good evening. My name is Robert Dean Winchester. I was the deceased's parole officer. Beyond that, I have no personal relationship with him. What I do have are the official entries from the Parole logbook, and I'd like to share some of them with you. December 9, 1956. Officer notes, parolee has grown a mustache in violation of his terms of release. January 17, 1957. Parolee claims to be employed as a crossing guard at the intersection of Bleecker Street and County Road Z, 12 miles west of Box Canyon Avenue, up a small rise 2 miles, bearing left about 10 fence posts, up a bigger rise, but if you go past the outhouse, you've gone too far, and blammo! There you are. Officer notes, there is no such intersection within the county, a violation of his terms of release. February 20, 1957, parolee reports a new endeavor in the field of rocks and rolls. June 1st, 1957. Note left by parolee found on windshield of squad car reads, Dear Robert, you will know me by the trail of goodness I leave in my wake. Keep the bears off your back and the beaver on your lap. Signed, Luke. Well, friends, by those words I have abided and tried to conduct my life. And for that I am sorely saddened by his departure.
Danny, you want to come up and little something here? Things are getting a little bit, seem like, out of control here, aren't they, everybody? Okay, you ready?
We're ready.
How y'all doing tonight? I'm Daniel. This here's Dee Dee. Say hi, Dee Dee. Dee Dee here used to do some backup for Luke back in the day. I don't think that's all she did for Luke, but she was a backup singer. And we all got acquainted recently in St. Paul, and Dee Dee and I have been heading down to Branson whenever we can the last year, try and break into the scene. Thought maybe Luke should come on down with us sometime, be a perfect place for him to rekindle his star. Luke would have none of that. Didn't quite understand why, but I think he come to terms with his anonymity, his fall. He seemed to be at peace. I could tell when he sent Dee Dee and I this song. We'd like to sing it for you tonight. Danielle and Dee Dee singing for you. There'll be no trace of me.
Sweetheart, come back here with my... Over here, sweetheart. We're going to share that. Yeah, you come in, after that recent safety part.
got no stone to place upon my grave, no epitaph for me. And if I live this life just right, there'll be no trace of me.
I guess everything ain't country music, but that's all right. Tammy, you want to come with? Tammy, you want to come and talk?
Hey everyone, I'm Tammy with a Y. Glad you guys are back in town. I knew Luke had a lot of friends from all over, but I did not know that he was a preacher until tonight, and just the things you learn. I'm sorry I'm not my usual bubbly, peppy self. I've just been down in the dumps since Luke passed, and it's just been really hard. And working at the diner all day did not help. My feet are killing me. I am tired, and you know how it goes. I first met Luke in 1967 or 1968 at the LARP, the diner over on Larpenter Avenue. He'd come in for coffee and eggs, but we'd end up gabbing till my shift was over. One time, he sang me his order of eggs and coffee, and then he got all the other customers to do the same thing, and by the end, I was laughing so hard, I almost lost my gum. So working all day just reminds me that Luke is gone. I mean, who is gonna write song lyrics on a napkin and leave that for me as a tip? Eddie, are you gonna do that?
I'll do my best, darling.
Oh, okay. All right. Did you know that Luke took his coffee with 2 creams and 1 sugar? He did. And, too sweet for me, but that's just the way that Luke was. A bunch of sweets stirred into the dark and the bitter. I'm gonna listen. Did you say the bar's still open?
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Yeah, thank you. Now, this gentleman, Kenny, is asked to speak, and he will do it now.
Thanks. I didn't know Luke. My name is Kenny. I didn't know Luke. My grandfather did back when Luke was in prison. My grandfather was the prison chaplain, so he called me up. He found out about the funeral somehow. He called me up. He knew I was in St. Paul and said, "I got a sermon for you." So read it to me over the phone, wrote it down, and talked to the band beforehand. They're going to play a little song. They thought they might have influenced this sermon, might have influenced the song. So just read it to you. Folks love to read about Bible characters, but they run them out of their churches. People love to read about folks who start out as cowards or stuttering princes and end up heroes. Maybe that's because they know how the whole story turns out. They know that David killed Goliath before he slept with Bathsheba. They know that Peter founded the church in Rome after the cock crowed 3 times. They're more understanding because they see the big picture. David and Bathsheba have Solomon, and adultery just reads different when you know the bastard son builds the Holy of Holies. But God Almighty, do some folks come down hard on messed up folks in the church? Like when a husband is stepping out on his missus, the church doesn't wait to see what God will do with the bastard. They run the lot of them out of town. And when a church elder denies his faith, they don't wait around. They don't wait around to give God the glory for a lost sinner saved. And it might feel like nobody waited around to see if God had some work left for Cyrus Luke Barfield. When he came in, he was hunched over, broken in a county jail cell, hawked his guitar for bail money, so the only time we heard him was when he would hum the old hymns after lights out. And as a prison chaplain, I have developed an eye for God's handiwork, and I suspect Cyrus is more of a Jonah than a Judas. Cyrus, today is your last day with us. You spent enough time in the belly of this old prison. The whale is spitting you up on dry land. And I hope you're done running from the Lord, that you get back to Birmingham, that you crisscross this country spreading the good news. You've been given a second chance, and this church is praying that God is going to get the glory for a lost sinner saved. Thank you.
Well, he said he spent 3 days in the whale. He spent those 3 days many times. It's been 3 days in the belly of the whale. It might be 3 days more, just a tell. It's cold and dark down here, but I believe the shore is near. It's been 3 days in the belly of the whale. God called Jonah to save the Ninevites, but he just up and ran the other way. And folks, let me tell you, I heard that call myself, but I also heard the call of the bottle on the shelf. When they found me on the corner, I was drowning, sinking, stumbling, slurring, falling fast. In the shadow that my sinful life had cast, sinking, stumbling, slurring, falling fast. Stay in that dark place, and in the mire he prayed he'd see the light of day. And God surely listened to him, because he wasn't finished with him. And the whale spit Jonah up a dry day. When they found me on the corner, I was drowning, sinking, stumbling, slurring, falling fast. In the shadow that my sinful life had cast, sinking, stumbling, slurring, falling fast. It's been 3 days in the belly of the whale. It might be 3 days more, the judge will tell. It's cold and dark down here, but I believe the shore is near. It's been 3 days in the belly of the whale. Yes, it's been 3 days in the belly of the whale.
I know dark clouds will gather o'er me. I know my pathways rough and steep, beautiful fields lie just before me, where God's redeemed their vigils keep. I'm going there to meet my mother. She said she'd meet me when I come. I'm just a going over Jordan. I'm just a going over. From time to time and traded songs, and this was one that he brought to me. He said, I got this story, but it needs a chorus, and so I came up with the chorus. This is a song that we wrote together. It's called Where the Sinners Are.
That's all right, at least you're not dead.
I was bumming through Topeka, just come from Wichita, when an old man picked me up, took me almost clear to Omaha. He dropped me off and he told me if I didn't find a ride, to look him up, he'd help me out. He wasn't hard to find. He said,